Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, I wonder if that's just because a lot more people would tell their friends, I guess, when it's live, more exciting maybe, or you can chat. I don't know, because I would have thought videos are pretty good too, but all right, I'm loading up your stream right now. All right, I'm loading up your stream right now. Oh, we're live. So just doing a mic test right now. All right, I'm loading up your stream right now.
Hello guys, we are live on Rise of Patience on YouTube. You can also check the stream on EasyCron HD on Twitter if you prefer Twitter. Oh, I mean Twitch. Yeah, I said Twitter. All
Yeah,
right.
twitch.tv. So this is Cron here as well, and guys, we're pretty excited to bring you the next quarterfinals in this tournament, which will be between none other than TGZ versus AZ1.
All right. Right before we start, let's quickly look at the complete matchup. So yesterday we saw EL versus IND, where EL won with a 2-0. So they are in the semifinals for sure. This game will decide who plays EL in the semifinals. So is it going to be AZ1 or is it going to be TGZ? And we've got duo Fear Your Death who rooting for TGZ. All right, TGZ's got a fan here.
Well, hopefully there's plenty of fans for both teams here because this is set to be an absolute cracker of a match. I think this is probably the most hyped game, and obviously I think everyone's dying to find out how it's going to play out. We've got two really quality teams here with really good players on each side, and to be honest, I have no idea how this will work out, but I'm expecting some crazy things from both teams.
Yes, definitely. On the other side, we've got Forvali versus AS Alpha, which has completed, and it's going to be casted either today or tomorrow. And PLA versus LAT T1 is still to be played. It's not completed yet, so hopefully it'll be completed before next week's semifinals. And we don't want to delay the semifinals anymore. Probably, if this game is played on, let's say, Friday or Saturday, we should have the semifinal game, that is WB3.2, on Sunday, and that will keep the flow of the tournament smooth as it's been so far.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, thanks for everyone was so great in the round of 16. We got through all those matches so quickly, even though obviously one or two could have held things up. So let's try and keep that up, and try and I guess bust through these games as much as possible, and that way, we can make sure we continue to progress and see some awesome semi-finals and eventually the finals coming up soon.
All right, and without further ado, quickly looking at the players, we've got Young One, Mentalist, Demon King, and Kron himself in the AZ1 team. The only reason Kron is casting right now because he didn't play for the 3 versus 3. So he should have an unbiased opinion. I mean, I won't say an unbiased opinion, but he has not been spoiled. So he doesn't know how the game went. He has been away from the clan WhatsApp group. That should keep it interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was so hard to try and stay completely off everything. I turned off my phone, kept it on airport mode all day. So I have no idea how this game turns out. And obviously, I would have liked to have, been there for the guys if they needed me, but it was scheduled really early morning for where I live. But obviously, I'll be commentating on this game as unbiased as possible, but I have no idea how it's going to play out. But I've definitely got some insights into how the AZ guys play here.
All right, and the other side for the TGZ, we got Immaculate, Leonidas, Math Wizard, Momo, Raiden, and Flames. There is an exception in this player list. I want to tell you that one player was substituted just for this game. We initially did not allow it, but just for the sake of this game, and since AZ1 team captain Young One was okay with it, we allowed Sumit Raya to substitute Leonidas. Leonidas had some work and he could not play this game. So anybody who's watching this, let me tell you, Sumitra will be playing this game, and this is the only matchup where he'll be playing. He will not be allowed to play any more games, and this is also a kind of, I don't want to say a warning, but it is actually a warning. Just without going too serious, I want to say that try to have your team ready. Do not substitute players with anybody else. Let's keep the spirit of the tournament. I realize that everybody wants to play, and some of you did not know about the tournament during registration time. But just to keep it simple, not to allow any kind of cheating to take place, we would like you to have players coming from only your roster, nowhere else. And that was the reason initially why we wanted you to have more players than required. We expected this to be a 3 versus 3 tournament, so that's why we asked you to have at least 4 players, so that even if there's one not available, you have somebody to replace him. So anyway, I guess today Immaculate, Momo, and Sumitraya were the players. But we'll find out whether they were there for all the games or some of the games. That's going to be quite interesting. And FC Bob says, AZ Young One fan here. And Duo Furior that says, I'm TGZ Toxic, but not really fine. He's a co-founder. I've not seen TGZ Toxic online for a long time, but I'm glad you're back and you're watching this tournament. So,
Yeah, I
Kron?
think
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
TGZ Toxic. I've seen Toxic around the joint. I think he's one of those players that pops his head up and plays a few games, once every couple of months, and then might have a break for a bit. So great to see you on, and a true TGZ fan from the beginning, and I'm sure he's definitely rooting for his team to get the to show some good games here and see how they go as far as progressing.
All right, and we got Martinet Lai. I believe Martinet Lai is PLA Martinet. He's a part of PLA one team, so that means hey, hi Martinet, and we are excited for your game with Lat one as well. Let's hope that completes as soon as possible and we can cast it. I can't wait to find out who wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And good to see, people watching from all across the world. I believe Martinet is located in China. And who else have we got? We've got, I can see Immaculate Young One, Bob. Yeah, this is some really good turnout so far, guys. Please, the one thing we ask before we get started, we want to make sure that anyone who wants to tune in live knows that this is going on. So please just copy the YouTube watch link, go into your Steam, look at, if everyone can just paste it to 3 friends you've got in your friends list, just paste the YouTube link. That's all we can ask, because as soon as you do that, paste it in a WhatsApp group as well. We just want to get as many people as possible. At the moment, we've got 13 people watching, which is great. But ideally, we're aiming for about 20 plus, if possible. So please, if everyone can just paste the link 3 times to 3 of your friends who you think might be interested in watching, that would be so much appreciated by myself and Jatin.
Right, and just making sure before we proceed, is everything okay with our voices? Is it too loud or is it echoing? Please let us know. I'll also pause the mic for a second. Kron, you can go ahead and I'll just check my stream if everything's fine as per our voices go.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess I'll just fill a bit of time here. But for anyone that didn't see the game last night, which was between EL versus hold on a second. It was EL versus why am I getting a blank here? It was versus IN. That's why, because I'm talking about your team, Jatin. It was EL versus IN. It was a great series there. I'm not going to spoil the result, but we had a really good post-match interview and a pre-match interview as well. So Boo gave a bit of a pre-match interview. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. You can basically listen to the whole thing on the YouTube channel there. And also, make sure you do watch the games, and at the end, check out the post-match interview, because some great insights that we had from, I won't reveal who it was, but if you go on the YouTube, you'll see who it is. And it was really fun, hearing the thoughts after the game. It really does feel like we're stepping this up. It's almost like professional sports now, as opposed to, just some video game that we all love to play and we all love to watch. So is anyone listening to this who did play in the TGZ versus AZ match, just stay on the line, because when our broadcast does finish, if we have an opportunity, we'll definitely try and patch you in. So just all we can ask is if you just watch and wait until the games are all, the results are out. Please send us a message on Steam once everything's been decided, and we'll definitely bring you on for a post-match interview if you're able to do so. I'm hearing some feedback there, I think. So we're just sorting out our audio right now, so bear with us.
All right, so it looks like everything's good, and we can go ahead.
Perfect, no worries. Well, if that's the case, let's definitely jump in, guys. I can see the viewer count's gone up to 16, so I'm sure that probably half of you, when I asked about pasting the links, half of you went ahead and did it. The other half just sat back and continued to watch. Fair enough. we understand. But for that other half, if you can just paste the link to 2 other people, we're just trying to get to 20 viewers here. Only need 4 more. That would be much appreciated,
That
guys.
would be much appreciated, right? We had a peak viewer of 25 in one of the quarterfinal games. I mean, one of the preliminary games. So maybe quarterfinals deserve a little more than that.
Yeah, exactly. This is probably the most hyped quarterfinals match of the bracket, I think, as far as the quality of the teams goes. So this is definitely a good one. If you have someone that you want to introduce them to Rise of Nations, great opportunity right now. Some of the best players in the world going at it. So please just spread the word, copy paste that YouTube link to one more person, and yeah, we'll get straight into it very shortly.
All right, just reminding that we have raised 600 for this tournament, and yep, all of this going to the winners. Keep the spirit up. And so, Kron, I was just thinking about it. What if we gifted out copies of Rise of Nations whenever there is a sale going on? Do you think that'll help in bringing new players to the game?
I think that's a great idea. I mean, especially when you get those Steam sales. Normally the game I think costs about roughly $20, but or depending on what country you're in, whatever currency that might be. But yeah, look, on those Steam sales, you can pick up copies for I think as low as $5 or €3 or some equivalent to that. So yeah, absolutely, I think that's a great idea.
All right, so yeah, probably we can do that in the future. Just before we start, I'll quickly discuss about my giveaway. There is a Facebook post for Rise of Patience. Please share that post on Facebook and paste the link of your favorite video from the channel. And you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel. As long as you fulfill these 2 criteria, your name will be there in the ballot for the lucky draw. It will be drawn on 17th March live on YouTube, and one of you will receive the a $50 Amazon gift card. I've not had a lot of entries right now, so that means if you enter, you have a good chance of winning. So yeah, just don't miss on this opportunity.
And I think I can hear in the background there, it sounds like someone who's tuning in has, they've got their anxiety so high they can't wait for this match that they might have just had, a heart attack or something like that, because I can hear the ambulance rushing in. But look, I think everyone's just as excited as whoever that poor guy was, because yeah, we're not far away now. We're getting into the final kind of setup, I guess, for this match. And I guess, is there anything else you wanted to cover off, Jatim, before we get into it?
No, I think we are ready. Let's start. So I'll quickly change to this window. I hope it's visible to everybody. There is a scorecard on the top right corner, so everybody can see it. I guess I just started a game, and it's not supposed to be the one that we should have started. I'll go back. All right, so Kron, you ready for game 1?
Yeah, I'll go into game 1. Yep. Okay, so all right. So I'm in game 1, and yeah, just let me know once you're in. I'm at the 0 seconds and 0 minutes mark.
All right, and guys, feel free to stop us if there's anything wrong with the stream, if there's a lot of buffering going on, or if our voices are not clear. And for some reason,
so I'm ready to go. So you want to count it?
Just a second. For some reason, my game is stuck. All right. So yeah, it's fine now. You ready? Right. I guess these guys paused the game as soon as it started, so it got stuck a little bit. All right. So I am at 4 seconds.
Okay, 1 second. Oh yeah, I can see what you mean. It did freeze up a bit. So I'm at 4 seconds as well. So you count us down and let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we are into AZ versus TGZ game. Both of these are in the quarterfinals. They have beaten their enemies in the preliminary by a 2-0, so it's going to be quite exciting to see this. Let's quickly look at the nations from the TG side. We've got, or maybe let's look at the players first. So TGZ has decided to get Momo, Immaculate, and Sumitraya in their roster. As I've said, Sumitraya is not a part of the roster, but he'll be playing this matchup with after permission from Young One. So again, respect for Young One for letting somebody play, but we will not be allowing any substitutions in the future games. So any other clans watching this, please do not try to have a substitute ready in case your player is not ready. You will have to reschedule, but no additions allowed.
Yeah, absolutely. And just an idea, Jiten, if you can bring this up for the viewers watching right now, you go into the menu and go game stats, and then click on the score. Sorry, on the score tab. You
Hmm.
can just see that it shows the nations there between the two teams. So we've basically got TGZ as the as you said, the Nubians, Russians, and Lakota versus AZ with Romans, Japanese, and French. Just under
Oh
that
yeah.
score tab there.
All right,
And
and yep. So TGZ team seems to have. So I'm really for Nubians and Lakota. They're amazing nations, but Russians, quite depending on the person playing it, if he uses it for the best, like separating the enemy, that's what Russians do the best. Their iteration can be used for making sure you are defended against any early raids or early attacks. So it completely depends how you play with Russians, but I think Lakota and Nubians are straight away really nice civilizations.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you look at these nations as they kind of match up, I mean, Nubians, Lakota, they're exceptionally strong ones, especially on Aussie Outback, because there's so many different rares for Nubians to use that I feel like, Nubians is one of those God mode kind of nations on this map, but it's quite well balanced out by Russians who I feel like Russians can be really good on Aussie Outback because you can sometimes do border push, try and take all the mountains, because mountains are probably the rarest kind of resource on this particular map. You've got plenty of wood, you've got plenty of fish and food and wealth from that side, but
Hmm.
metal is one of the only things that can limit you a bit. So I feel like Russians, while they're probably a weaker nation, generally speaking, they can be really good if Imma can get some really good border push going here.
Right. And especially with Lakota, since Lakota can build in the center, that means they got more territory, and more territory means the Nubian player has access to more rare resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, on the flip side, though, you look at the AZ guys. They've got Japan, Romans, and French. I would say this is a really exciting set of nations here because honestly, I don't think either team's necessarily got the be all and end all as far as stronger nations, but Japanese are absolutely like the best, and they're in the hands of I'd argue probably the best player on AZ being Young One, who's definitely the ace in the sleeve, so to speak, for AZ here because I've seen Young One play with Japanese before and no idea what he's going to do here, but when he gets Japanese in the past, I've seen him go despot quite often. And I mean, you look at this Japanese scenario. He's got Russia right next door to him, and obviously Russia can't use their attrition if the enemy's got despot. So it'll be interesting to see if he does end up going despot here, or if he does just tend to boom up like he normally would on a standard map.
Right, and I mean these are all offensive nations, so there's a lot of possibility for a double or triple if these guys just coordinate a little bit.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing, I guess, is how this battle will play out at the top as well here between Demon King and Momo as the Lakota player, because there's some diamonds that's right between their two cities,
Oh
and it looks
yeah.
like that's starting to develop into a bit of a fight between them.
All right, and yeah, Sumit Roya getting diamonds early in the game. That's. I mean, he's got as good a wealth income as his food income, and that's OP, man. That's so good for him.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to add up, and I mean, yeah, for those that don't play a lot of Rise of Nations, Nubians are one of the few nations that can actually, build a market and build merchants and trade and buy resources before they research commerce. So getting diamonds early on means that your wealth income is not only plus 20 from the diamonds, but because they're in the territory, you get an extra 50%. So that's actually plus 30, just streaming on in as wealth income from, pretty much a couple of minutes into the game.
All right, and let's quickly focus on the rare resources from TGZ side. They've got diamonds, yeah, definitely good. Marbles, cotton, spice, wool, tobacco, and gems. And I would say they've got a lot of wealth rares here. Gems and tobacco are awesome, and they have also got a lot of knowledge rares as well. So it's going to be quite easy for Sumit Raya to age up to medieval age. Probably he can pull off the fastest medieval age among any of the six nations if he uh, uses these rare resources properly.
Yeah, I think, and there's also a sugar, which is just to the bottom left of the Lakota's capital, which is kind of in a bit of an awkward position because I think either team could make a grab for it. But at the moment, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who can secure that sugar, because if TGZ can secure that, they've definitely got the lion's share of the best res on this map so far.
Oh, yep, and yep. So I believe if Momo builds right in front, maybe somewhere here where I'm pointing near the mountain, he can grab this mountain as well as get the sugar secured. And these guys have already got nice rare resources, and with that sugar, it's going to be quite unbeatable. They've also got furs at the bottom of the map, although it's yeah, I'm not sure if I don't think Young One is going to build the city right there, because that's just quite an unconventional place to be building.
Yeah, you can see at the top there, Demon King has built a tower and nearly gets that merchant that the Lakota player had there. Oh, sorry, that wasn't. That was. Sorry, Nubians. My bad. But he does get the merchant away, and I can see that Lakota here is starting to build that barracks, and it looks like Momo is going for some raids that'll be coming up shortly.
Right, and here Immaculate has decided to go military one first. Meanwhile, here Young One has got an awesome economy. He's got 100 everything, and so far Immaculate has not done any serious damage. Although he has just found out the wood line, so it's going. If he wants, he can disrupt the whole wood production for Young One until he gets a barrack up.
Yeah, I think definitely an interesting move here. Definitely surprising, I guess, to see Russia, to see him going mill one. I guess, you know, to be honest, for Immaculate here, he's in a bit of a tough position because it's almost like mind games here. He knows that he's next door to Japanese, and he knows that Young could go mill first. So if he doesn't go mill first himself, he could literally just lose the game like almost in the first couple of minutes. But given that Young One knows this, Young One probably didn't go mill one himself, and it's almost like a poker game as far as who blinks first and who knows. If you know what the other guy's going to do, then you do something different. And yeah, kind of fascinating to watch this.
Definitely, and I mean, look at that. Young One has still got a nice economy. He is going commerce too already. He's making use of that silk perfectly. Let's quickly go over their rare resources. While I think let's hold on with the rare resources. There's some nice raids going on this side from Momo. Momo is also going for a commerce too, using the silk. I guess the silk is just perfect for these guys. Both Young One and Momo are using it. Orange just pointed out Orange just pointed out that Momo is using it, so probably it's going to get traded. But Momo has already used silk, so there is no reason for him to keep his merchant there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, great use of silk there. I think silk is well and truly the best rare resource on Aussie Outback because it's such a good map for fishing, and it's such a powerful build when you go commerce 2 nice and quick, and then you know you basically tech up, fill up your commerce caps, and then either go for despot or senator with 200 resource cap.
Yep, and yeah, now I think it's quite inactive on the map. Let's quickly discuss the rare resources for the AZ team. They've got salt here, Pappy, and some of them have used silk. I mean, only Young One has used silk, but I don't think the TGC team is going to be using silk anymore, because the AZ team will probably seal this off, this passage that's right here. And these guys have also got wine, so I won't say they have bad rares. They probably I mean, the rare resources are quite balanced there. They've also got horses. They have just not discovered it. So horses and salt, that's amazing combination.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I'm just looking at Young One's technology right now. He's going for a really interesting build. He's going for commerce 2, and then military 2, and then finally age 2 now. So this is absolutely looking like it's going to be some seriously heavy aggression coming out. And to be honest, I think the biggest question is whether he goes for despot or for senator here.
Yep, definitely. I would say against Russia, with his military too, I don't see any reason why he would go senator, unless of course he wants to take out Sumitraya. Now, Young One seems to be in quite a strong position here. I don't see any way how he will fail a 1 versus 1 attack. But since Sumitraya is also here, unless he gets doubled, I don't think Young One should be failing an attack.
Yeah, I mean, the TGZ guys are doing a great job. They've secured that sugar. They've probably got more of the, you know, those really, really good rares kind of secured. And they've also got Amber, which I must admit, I think Amber is one of the best rares to have on this map too, because there's so much gold and so much trading that you can do, especially as the game wears on. But yeah, I mean, if you look at this setup, I mean, the biggest concern I'd have for TGZ here is that Immaculate is a great player, but you know, any player that has Russians that's so close to Japanese, that's gone Commerce 2 after going Mill 1 and basically, you know, somewhat, I'm not sure how effective his rush was with that Mill 1, but yeah, you know, it definitely didn't slow down Young all that much by the looks of it. And I mean, the AZ guys have Pappy as well, so they've got that extra kind of technology boost. I think it's just going to come down to Japanese versus Russia and whether Sumichaya and Immaculate can hold here or not.
Right, and Immaculate is not doing well. He is just getting the Science 1 upgrade. He's not going to be aging. Yeah, he can age right after the Science upgrade, but he's still slow compared to the Japanese player here, who is already starting putting up a siege factory. He has got a despotism upgrade coming. This does not look good for Immaculate.
No, I think, and it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I don't mind Immaculate City placement here, but I must admit, if I was in his position, sometimes I'd be thinking, do you just, for your second city, do you just kind of cut your losses and build directly backwards and almost, you know, protect yourself a bit? Because, I mean, basically, if Young One chooses to, he can attack either, you know, Moscow, or he can attack Immaculate's second city at the bottom. And there's not really any way that, you know, he has the ability to defend both. So I feel like, depending on how Young One plays this, probably one of these cities is going to go down, and maybe whether Immaculate could have built backwards instead.
Yeah, I would say he should have built backwards, because I understand why he built there. He wanted to protect first, probably, but this is, I mean, even that wood that's separating Moscow and that city that I cannot pronounce, that wood is going to help in preventing some raids. So, yeah, maybe not the worst idea, but if this Yeka something city gets raided, or attacked by Young One, there is no way Sumitraya can help all the way here. Okay, this Moscow is quite somewhere close to Sumitraya, so he can help. But again, it's like, would you rather get a small fish or a big fish with the capital? And I think oh no, Young One is going for the small fish. He does not want to get Moscow right now. He's trying to kill him slowly, and not a bad idea at all.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, this is going to work out well either way. Oh, and you do see, it looks like Mentalist, as far as his government choice, it looks like he might have gone Despot as well. So, yeah, so the AZ guys really playing as a team. I mean, I like this idea because if you're going to have Despot on one side, let's see if it's Commerce 2. Yeah, it is Commerce 2 Despot as well from Fringe. Sorry, Mentalist, aka Fringe. So, some really powerful builds here. I think Commerce 2 Despot is one of the strongest aggressive builds in this game, because you're not limiting yourself, but you're getting out so many troops and you're getting that plunder.
Yep, and looks like that city is going to be taken. Sumitraya has archers, perfect for this opportunity, but these guys have no heavy infantry, so these horses, there's nothing to counter these horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's definitely going to set Immaculate back a bit. I mean, his economy is not doing so great so far. He's doing his best, but, you know, Russia plus military 1 means a really, really slow start for him. And, you know, it's just apples and oranges here as far as the economies between Japs and Russia go.
That's right. And here is Mentalist. He's coming up with raids. I think he's doing a great job here, because if he can just distract Sumitraya, that's the perfect opportunity for Young One to take out Immaculate. Meanwhile, looks like Momo is stepping in as well. He has got his horse archers, and Mentalist just left his archers to almost die there. Not the best idea. But I want to point out that the Nubian player has got an amazing knowledge income. I don't see anybody else who is going to be aging medieval before him. All of these guys from AZ are still, I mean, Young One has the maximum knowledge income, which is 20. So Nubian, if they allow this Nubian player to survive for long, it's not looking good for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important to note. I mean, I've just checked the AZ guys, their their universities, and I don't think any of them have basically built scholars at all. So, or even universities to that end. So this is very much they want to end the game quickly. They're spending all their gold on additional troops, and if TGZ can hold, then potentially TGZ guys can obviously take up and win the late game, I guess.
Yep, and looks like Momo is, Momo and Sumitra, they've got really nice scores on the other side, and Demon King he's going French Despot. So, and he's also got militia, so I believe he's just going for an all-out militia raid on this Makasika city. And the city seems to be unprotected completely. It can be taken down. He has got all of his militia. I mean, I would have to say, awesome game, awesome teamwork by AZ guys here. And Momo is right here. That means his cap is unprotected.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, Momo coming down to help his teammates out, but this is almost perfect play by AZ here. Obviously, you can see a big militia pool here from Demon, and there's one catapult firing down on it so far. But geez, this is going to be very, very hard to stop that cat attack happening.
Right, and all the militia are coming back. I mean, all the villagers for Momo are coming back. Will Demon King be able to take the city in time?
Yeah, definitely needs one more catapult here to help out get that city down. But
oh yes,
that's a lot of men, and that French supply wagon really helping too.
I wonder if there was just one more catapult, that would have been a cap sack for the French player. I don't know if he can still get it or not, or probably not, because yeah, I don't know, man. I cannot comment right now. There is just so much going on. All the militias for both the players are right here.
Yeah, that's a lot of men, and I mean, I think Demon's regretting not getting that second catapult right now. Definitely would have got the cap sack if he got that city down a bit faster.
Yes, definitely a second catapult, but Demon does not have a nice economy here. Momo says he cannot hold.
I mean, the biggest thing here is French. I mean, they can heal all their troops, and you can see Demon's troops are basically constantly getting that HP back, which is really, really helping here, because you're not only trading, but you're actually getting that health back versus Lakota, who's faster normally than French. So, oh geez, this is too close to call.
This is too close. This is too close. I think Momo can just make it, but I would also wonder why. All right, and French has taken a city from Momo on this side. It's quite nice.
Wow.
I can't believe this is happening. This was a perfect team play from them.
This is, yeah, definitely. You can see that the AZ guys absolutely playing like a perfect team here. This is really, coordinated tactics here, I guess, as far as, going down, bringing Momo down, and then, doing that big militia pull there by Demon. And then, Fringe is cleaning up his second city. Momo is absolutely devastated here. The issue for them is that if they can somehow fend this off, Momo's pretty much lost almost half his citizens, if not more. And Mentalist is definitely coming up to apply more pressure now.
Right. Oh, and Young One is here as well. And Momo's capital got taken. I think that could be it. Momo has been defeated. Both of his cities are taken. I can't believe it. So AZ1 has the highest, that's the record for quickest victory, which was I think 15 minutes.
Wow.
With a triple. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe that was 15 minutes.
And this is the second highest record, again set by them, with 18 minutes.
Oh my god, that was see, this is I mean, I've got to be careful, because this is obviously I don't want any bias to show, so let's talk about the match as neutrally as possible. But I just think that team play by AZ1 there is exactly what this tournament is all about, and it's about trying to act in a way where everyone plays as much in sync with each other as possible, and everyone's making moves that benefits the whole team. And you can see the key thing there was, typically on an online match, triple N, Nomad no noob games, you're playing with random people, and often, one might like to boom and another might like to rush. And the problem is when one player goes despot, and they go and attack and the other team defends it with two, that person who went despot is pretty screwed. Whereas these guys all went despot with basically the same plan of attack. They all went commerce 2 despot. which is not an all-in type build, but it's still a really, really powerful build. And yeah, it just showed that that coordination between the three of them really, really paid off here.
Definitely. I mean, I just love this game. I can't believe it's already over. And these guys did not even know about horses yet. Just imagine, French with horses, that could have, I mean, they might have reduced 1 minute from this game. And this salt helped them as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we try and break down, what happened here, and obviously there's a lot of action that we can't always pick up on, like as far as the economies and the fishing and the rares and the rating. But I mean, overall, I think, look, if I was to sit here and analyze and say, what they could have done differently, maybe perhaps Immaculate was in a tough spot there against Japanese next door. But maybe he does take that gamble and go for commerce before military. And then go commerce mill just to try and defend if Japanese does do the rush, because I feel like going military there, you're basically in a really rough spot because you can't really raid Japanese and get a good raid off. But at the same time, Russia is already quite slow in the beginning. You need to kind of try something different, I guess, and then maybe build that city backwards instead of building it to the side, because that was always going to be vulnerable there. Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, when Young One gets Japanese, it's always going to be a tough opponent.
Definitely. And yeah, I will also say, well, Sumitraya went for an extra commerce. And I know that he had all the wealth he could afford it, but I wonder if instead of that extra commerce, because he was not using that extra commerce, right? He has a 200 cap, but he was still somewhere around 150. So maybe he could have avoided commerce too. He knew that a Young One is already strong there against Immaculate with the Japanese versus Russia matchup. So maybe he should have been. He could have changed the outcome a little bit, but I understand the urge to boom with Novians. I have been a victim to it too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you get Nubians, you just think, damn, my knowledge income. He's probably getting vision in his head of thinking, hopefully when everyone watches this on YouTube, I'll be the guy that has the colo and has the 300 army, 300 resource kind of income coming in, and you can just crush the entire map, win a 3v1, and be the hero for the day. But yeah, unfortunately, sometimes when everyone goes despot like that, and you've got aggressive nations like French, Romans, and obviously Japanese at the bottom, geez, that's tough, to be honest. I don't even know what TGZ could have done differently there. That was just perfect execution, and yeah. Look, do you think they could have perhaps changed anything there?
I wonder if Immaculate had his city behind and had moved capital and let Sumitraya reach medieval age, they might have a chance. But initially, Immaculate City was taken, then he was already at back foot. And this place here, if you see this Moscow, I mean, it's so close to Japanese that there was no way Young One could not have taken it in a 1v1. So yeah, a little of bad luck as well. But anyway, let's move to the next game. This was quite a nice one. I'll quickly check the military though. So units lost. Momo has lost the most units, and Demon King gets the highest kills.
Yeah, I guess Momo's units, he probably lost quite a lot of militia there at the end trying to save his capital, so the stats might be a bit skewed there. But yeah, Demon doing a great job too, just playing as French there, realizing that the capital is so close. I'd almost say it's probably a little bit risky for Momo to build his capital at the forward base. And I know that's quite common for Lakota to do that, but do you think perhaps Momo could have, obviously with the benefit of hindsight, it's easy for us to say, but do you think he could have built his capital at his back city instead?
I wonder if, so I would definitely say that Momo should have a tower in his capital. That goes without a doubt, since the French player has a tower right in front of it, and he's French, so you expect him to attack. So I don't think changing the capital to this Shakopee would be a good idea, just because it makes him a target for a double or triple easily. But to keep the city right here at Makasika, he should have at least a tower there. That's somewhere he missed out.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I guess it's like when you play games with Zen mechanics and Zen gets pissed off, sometimes he'll say, why didn't you build a tower at your cap? And that's probably, applicable here. It's just one of those things where, when you're that close to Paris and a French player who's probably going to go despot, given, French are obviously so good with the despot healing, yeah, look, probably something that Momo might have just forgotten to build, or thought he might have had enough troops. And I mean, credit to Mentalist, he basically drew down those troops because they needed help at the bottom, and yeah, the perfect kind of trap. And Demon was ready to go with the militia rush.
Like, yeah, awesome teamwork. In the chat, we've got David saying that Lakota didn't press French much. Um, so I wonder. I don't think the Momo had a lot of time for to press on French. He might have done some raids, but he was more preoccupied with a young one taking on Immaculate. So I think he was like, oh, don't die. I might be able to kill later, but I need to save my teammates there. And yes,
Yeah.
yeah, continue,
Oh,
please.
exactly right. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think this is the first time I've seen Sumatra play in the tournament. Obviously, we talked about how he subbed in as an emergency sub, as just a one-off, which we've done for this game. But what did you think of his play?
I think he played really well. Of course, except the fact that he did not expect Young One to do such a quick rush. I mean, Young One skipped Civic. I guess he skipped Science as well, or did he do Science?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm actually out of the match already, so you might have to check.
All right, so I am out of the match as well, and my game. So somehow my game has some problem. It crashes when I close it. So I'll be restarting Steam quickly. Meanwhile, yeah,
Yeah, no
I
problem.
do think Sumitra was playing awesome, and if this game had maybe drawn out long for till medieval age, TGZ could have easily overpowered AZ there, because these guys had the power of knowledge. They had maybe five times more knowledge than any AZ player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the AZ guys were definitely somewhat, if that was a game of poker, they were basically all in on Despot. And I feel like if they hadn't done some serious damage there, then the TGZ guys, if they managed to hold on somehow, building quick castles perhaps, they definitely would have been in pole position to take up and definitely crush them later on in the match. But yeah, look, great team play. I love to see this high level of strategy, this high level of teamwork. I feel like obviously without praising the AZ guys too much, try and not let my bias show through. But I do feel like they have a strength in the sense that pretty much every single player on their roster, Young One, Fringe, and Demon, they all are known as really, really good boomers, but they've already displayed the ability to do despot rushes or apply really early aggression or unique strategies. Um, and I think when you're playing against that, it really puts you in a tough position because, for example, Immaculate there in that match against Japanese, when you see Young One like that just so close to you as Japs, you're probably going to think that he's going to go mill one and he's probably going to rush your woodcutter camp. And you kind of put it in a tough spot because there's nothing really good you can do. And I mean, at the same time, Young could have either gone mill one or he could have gone science two, commerce two, civ, skipped mill, gone age two, and just gone for some ridiculous boom build. And either way, like you're never really going to know which way he's going to go until you finally can scout him and see what's going on.
Definitely, and I don't blame Immaculate for going military one at all. I mean, that was the smart move. If he had not, and he had found that the young one had military one, then it would have been a GG long before we it was this time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was the safe move to do. It's just a bit of an unlucky draw, I guess, getting Young as Japs when you're Russians so close to his capital. So
Right.
it
So
is
yeah,
what it
let's
is.
move to the next game. I have opened the game, and just to be sure, Immaculate has Buntu.
Okay, so bear with me. I'm just loading that up now.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, bear with me. I'm just having a technical error, but I won't be far away. It looks like I've got a bit of an issue here. I think I've got the wrong replay.
Oh no, wait. So
Sorry.
it could be me. Wait a second. I'll check game. Just a second.
I think you've got the right one. It looks like you've got a fresh replay, but the one I had completely random players in it, and it looks like it was the wrong one. So maybe if there's a way you can email it to me or.
Oh, yep. I'll email it to you right now. So yeah, that's I did open the right game. So everybody, please hang on. We'll quickly, I'll quickly send the replays to Kron, and we'll be back. Meanwhile, let us know what you guys thought about the last game. If you were in their place, would you have done things differently, especially if you were in Immaculate or Sumitraya's place? So Kron, I have just sent you the replay.
Yeah, thanks for that. No worries. I'll quickly download that and minimize any delays as much as possible. Okay, yep, I've got that one. So game number 2. All right, not too far away. Just getting into that one now.
Awesome.
Okay, 1 second.
So Boo says it's Old World. Who wanna bet it's Old World or Aussie or Great Lakes?
Perfect. Thanks for waiting, guys. Everything's been resolved. We've got the right replay now and ready to get stuck into it. So just let me know. I'm at the 0 second mark. So count me down whenever you're in.
All right, I'm at 1 second.
We'll get straight into the second match.
All right, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So TGZ versus AZ1. The second match. I'm absolutely pumped up for this after seeing that first game. Some great display of teamwork and strategy there from the AZ guys, and an unfortunate draw, I guess, with Russians being so close. But no, I'm hyped, man. This is going to be really good.
This is going to be really good. And let's again quickly look at the teams. So it's the same roster from both the teams, so nothing's changing. That means it's possibly a revenge time for TGZ. And it looks like Immaculate has got Bantu, so he's finally happy that he doesn't have to get stuck with Russians.
That's true. I mean, so you have Sumatra as French, Immaculate as Bantu, and Momo as Koreans. Overall, I'd say not bad nations. Kind of middle of the range. There's no heavy hitter there. There's no Japs, Germans, or Lakota.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you don't have any Russia or those slower nations that could be a liability in the early game. So I don't think they can be too unhappy with those nations.
So yeah, and on the other side, Egyptians, Germans, and Indians. So I would clearly say Germans are one of the fast nations. Now, Egyptians on this map, Old World, and the Old World is a little bit like Sahara with some more obstructions to raids. I would say Egyptians is probably the most underrated, underperforming civilizations on this map. But would you agree?
Yeah, I think Egyptians are definitely hard to get going because you are sacrificing quite a bit if you do go for that early Colossus on a map like this where wealth is at a premium, and it can be a bit harder to get your economy up and running as fast as on other maps. But at the same time, this map's quite slow. It's quite hard to move your army around because of those rivers, and so sometimes that can work for the Egyptians' benefit by building a wonder that's so hard to sneak attack or to capture the city. It can kind of make it more attractive. So it kind of goes both ways, I reckon, in some respects.
Right, and yeah, just pointing out again, Young One and Immaculate are in front of each other, and both of them have amazing nations. But Young One is slightly deprived of wood. He just got +4 here, but maybe the German bonus will help him to be neck to neck with the Bantu, at least.
Yeah, I think that was Microsoft's way of balancing this game. They knew that they had Young One with Germans versus Immaculate here. And I mean, Germans are basically, in my opinion, one of the top 3 nations you can get in Nomad, but they've blessed Young One with only 4 wood here. And so that's probably just a way to make sure that we're going to see some really good games. because obviously once Germans can get that woodcutter camp, he will be able to get a bit of a boost. But more likely, he's probably just going to have to try and build his second city somewhere where he'll secure more wood and yeah, not have to worry about rationing his wood like he is at the moment.
Definitely. And yeah, an Egyptian player is the back, so that gives him an opportunity to boom in case required. So yeah, I would definitely prefer Egyptians at the back instead of Germans at the back, just because Germans can take that early rush if they are rushed by the Ubuntu player. Do you think Immaculate would be rushing going with a military one order?
I think it would probably be tempting for him to do so because he's got he's got Bantu this time, which is a much faster nation when you compare it to Russians as far as the ability to raid with the troop speed. And I can see in the chat actually he just said 91 you're going to sieve, I will go mill. So it looks like he is definitely thinking of going mill early on. It would just be interesting to see if that's a commerce mill build or if he's just going straight up for the the equivalent of a six bull, basically mill one straight up and just punching out heaps and heaps of heavy infantry and putting young one under pressure.
Right, and he did that last game, but last game he was unlucky because Young One had Japanese. Even this time, Young One has a strong nation, but let's see what Young One is trying to do. So I think he's going for a military one. Oh no, he just got the commerce done. So nope.
Yeah, it does go for the commerce, but I wouldn't necessarily mind that either. I mean, Young One's definitely smart enough to realize that his border is close, and he knows that Immaculate's just there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go, commerce and mill here, and then maybe a defensive military just to try and hold off any rush. But at the same time, you can see that actually Immaculate's doing the same thing, following the lead. He's going commerce first as well, so it looks like it will be a commerce mill build by Bantu.
Yep, and I mean, Immaculate can afford that because he's got enough wood right here. But for Young One, he will have to get a city, or else he is in trouble because he's not got enough wood to. And I would even argue that there is this +5 woodcutter camp available at the behind. Maybe Young One should take use of that. Won't be the worst idea. It's in Egyptian the Egyptian player's territory.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a smart one because, it is a bit of a walk to get there. But once you do make that walk, that hopefully it's quite well protected there, unlikely to get raided easily. And with that, obviously we can see the whole map if we need to. But from Young One's perspective, I think perhaps if he built his city out towards the left here, he might be able to secure those trees towards the center of the map and, kind of set up camp there as well.
Oh, yeah. Man, let's quickly look at the rare resources on this side. TGZ, they've got cotton. I really like cotton because, who doesn't like cotton? It gives you faster production of units. In a heated battle, it can win you the game. And
exactly. I mean, cotton is awesome.
Oh yeah, just pointing out that young one has decided to get a city in the corner, and there's this big land separating his two cities that could be possibly raided by Immaculate. And since he is Bantu, we would expect him to we would expect to see a lot of raids. And I really don't like that decision because he just abandoned his woodcutter camp here. It provides Immaculate the perfect opportunity to get a city right here below the woodcutter camp and get this woodcutter camp out of Young One's territory.
Yeah, I think Young realizes that, I mean, by making this move, it looks like he's almost, as you said, abandoning that woodcutter camp. But if you look to the eastern side, to the right-hand side of his second city, looks like a huge woodcutter camp that he has managed to establish there with about 80 wood. So I guess, obviously securing that 80 wood is definitely going to help in the long term, having that stability of plenty of wood supply. And it looks like the Egypt player is onto a move here as well.
Oh yeah, and yeah, definitely. I think you're right. That 80 wood is enough to survive until the senator upgrade. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. And here Momo has gone for a military one attack, and this is going to be quite difficult for Young One to handle because he has to defend Mentalist right now, and Mentalist is Mentalist is getting a wonder, so there is no way he can help Young One right now. Young One does not have military one, so he is all by himself to defend against this Momo's raid, and probably the Bantu raid is going to come up soon as well.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting one. It seems like after Immaculate was talking about going for military early on, it looks like he has ended up going civic after all. And I don't mind that move, given that, obviously Bantu get the 2 extra cities, so you're almost getting twice the value for the same civic research. But yeah, Momo definitely taking the reins of this raid. And yeah, just look at the micro of Young here. Kind of a good lesson on what to do when you do get raided. Don't panic, just grab each citizen, walk them away, and try not to lose anyone. And keep farming, I guess, where you can.
Yep. And he's also using his villagers to fight the archers, but I guess he may lose. Yeah, he lose. He just lost 1 villager, but nothing bad. He is getting his barracks up, so it's not the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some trying times, I guess, just while managing this initial raid and not having a barracks up. And it does look like Fringe is going for a very aggressive economic build here. I believe it looks like the Colossus obviously going up in the background, but he's also putting down pyramids in quite a vulnerable position. So this is definitely some economic gamble here from Mentalist as Egypt. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Not sure why he built the pyramids at the front city there.
All right, and in the chat, Young One says that he wanted them to let Fringe boom freely, and get rushed by these guys, so he can absorb all the raids and let Mentalist enjoy all that fun. But I just saw the chat from Immaculate, and he says we are going to triple here. I missed the chat before, so I don't know here, but I assume with here he means the Young One's capital, Berlin.
Yeah, it looks like they are definitely gearing up for a big attack. You can see that it looks like Demon's doing a nice raid here on those diamonds, getting at least 1 merchant there. That's definitely going to be frustrating for whoever's merchant just died. But yeah, I mean, all the action seems to be on Young One's side here. It looks like he's definitely, if that is true and he is trying to attract a rush, it looks like it's definitely working, because plenty of units being built and yeah, kind of swarming up close to Berlin there.
Oh yes, and Young One is not doing bad at all. Looks like he still has an advantage in amount of food he has compared to Immaculate and Momo here. Momo does not have the science research. Immaculate is just getting that, and Young One is getting that too. So that's the power of Germans. just look at that. Despite facing all those raids, he is still ahead of both purple and yeah, blue.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just a matter of staying calm, not losing too many units to these raids, and just responding as intelligently as you can, I guess. It looks like in the chat for the AZ guys, you've got Demon asking 56, are you okay? And Young saying, no, I'm fine. It's all good. I'm just doing my thing right now. So you can see, yeah, some good raiding here by Imma. But yeah, it looks like Young One's just playing nice and smart at the moment. He has got his barracks up and he's just kind of making the minimum number of units he can while keeping his economy strong.
Right, and yeah, as I said, this trading route has become a raiding spot. I don't think Immaculate is going to be able to start his trading route soon, unless he gets a tower here or unless he gets a stable up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he just received timber from Mentalist in the perfect time to get a stable up. I don't know if these guys are on voice chat. I mean, Young One, were you guys on a voice chat while you were playing this game?
Yeah, I believe. Well, I can provide some insight into our first match, which I was part of. But yeah, we were definitely on Discord, and it was quite interesting for me, obviously being Australian, on with Young One and Fringe, because they're both Turkish, and talking to each other in Turkish the whole game. And the only time that I spoke to them, it was normally like, "Mentalist, move your cap." And he's like, okay. And then and those guys, yeah, communicate really well with each other. Demon definitely doesn't speak Turkish as far as I know, so it'll be interesting to see how he's finding it as well. But yeah, Mentalist and Young definitely on Discord together talking to each other.
All right, and yep, Sumitra French has got despotism. Young one is ready to take on any kind of battle that starts right now because he's getting militia. He's got light horses coming out, so I guess he's fully expecting a double or triple in this side. Meanwhile, I don't think there's going to be a triples. Sumitra is on the other side. He's got diamonds, so he has that extra 10% commerce income. Not a bad idea to go despotism. And obviously, French with despotism is you usually can't go wrong with that unless, of course, you get doubled. But in this case, I think Sumitra is completely a 1 versus 1 with Young One because Demon King, because Young One and Mentalist have their own problems. Since Mentalist was booming all this time, now he has to help Young One stay alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at the economy for both Demon and for Mentalist here. They've both got, it looks like, you've got Demon here with Commerce 2. So he's got a really great food and wood income coming in, 130 food, 150 wood. And then he's up against Despot, French player. But I mean, Indians are so good at defending. You can build towers so cheap, you can build elephants, you can spam out barracks and stables. So, I mean, there's really a window of opportunity here for Sumitra to strike. But I feel like if Sumitra waits too long, it's not going to pan out too well for him.
And yep, he is going Despot as well, and not a bad idea since he already has got Commerce too.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, Despot versus Despot, it's always fascinating to watch because no one wants to be the guy who's defending as Despot. You can't bribe your units when they're in your territory. But yeah, look, going Despot against French, I don't mind it. If you can try and snipe the Despot, then it could be a good move there as well.
Yep, definitely. And looks like blue and green might be doing a double. Mentalist has already boomed a lot, so it's not a good idea to give him so much time.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the 14-minute mark, which is probably about as late as you want a rush to start happening. I feel like any later than 14 minutes, you're already in the mid game and people are starting to get close to, taking up to age 3. So it looks like, yeah, Immaculate and Momo do need to try and get this double happening as soon as possible if that's what their plan is to get aggressive.
Right, and Momo tried to, I think, raid Silk or something, but that was a failed attack. He even lost some units there. I guess right here, Young One is in no hurry to attack. All he wants to do right now is just wait, just defend there. He's got a lookout there. He's getting a third city. Meanwhile, I believe that Sumitra has a nice army there for the attack, and Demon King is getting worried. He is asking Mentalist for help, and I think Mentalist is fine there. He's got a tower in case the Momo cannot go to Heliopolis without destroying the tower, and the only choice for Momo is to either help Sumitra or Immaculate. There is no way he can go to Mentalist City. All right, there's a triple going on. Can you see that? Immaculate, all of these 3 guys are here.
Yeah, wow. They're all coming around. And wow, good move by TGZ. I mean, geez, I must admit, I didn't see that coming, but it makes sense. I mean, Demon's a little bit vulnerable here. And bringing around all 3 players, it's really tough. Young One can't rotate and help him out.
Yep, and he loses the city. And Demon King has got his militia here as well. And I don't know why Mentalist is receding. Is he? I saw him go back. But anyway, even with the 2 versus 3, these guys are not doing bad.
I mean, you can see that Elephant is really helping out here. It's taking a lot of hits and allowing his other units to do lots of damage there. There are lots of archers at the back in a really good location. And it looks like the AZ guys aren't panicking yet. They're holding their ground and continuing to fire. And, this is, they've taken the city, but they haven't really taken out the army yet.
Oh, yeah, they have not. And it's a lot up to Fringe right now, because he's the one booming, and Demon King's economy has taken a sudden hit.
Yeah, I mean, a huge hit there on Demon's economy. I really like that move, a brilliant move by TGZ to rotate across there. And you can see that they definitely did it in a smart way, because the way the map's laid out, Young is really trapped with his army on the right-hand side. He can't really apply too much pressure there at the moment, and he can't definitely reinforce from through the side. So really, you know, Young and Fringe don't really have much of a choice except to, you know, try and counterattack on their own sides.
Right, and it turned out that Young was completely banking on the fact that these guys would double him, but it turned out that he was the only person who stayed out of the fight so far. And Mentalist is getting a little desperate. He's facing both blue and purple here to take the city. Meanwhile, green has got the momentum that he needs, and he is going to take out Demon King.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that capital's going down, and yeah, unfortunate for Demon. Sometimes you're the guy that gets tripled, and yeah, you cop it. There's nothing you can really do except try and die as slowly as possible. Yeah.
Right, and look at that's the best part about Koreans: cheap towers and the healing. Meanwhile, Young One is rushing Immaculate's capital. It's a great opportunity for him to get that cap sack, because I don't think Yellow is going to be in the game for too long. I would still say great move by Yellow to get a city as soon as possible instead of losing. I mean, it's always a great thing to buy some time for your teammates.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see Young One is bringing all his militia here as well. He realizes how important it is to get this cap sack.
Oh, and he's going to be a little late for that. He's going to be a little late. Or is he going to take that city? Oh man, I think he missed it by just a few seconds.
Great defense there by Immaculate. I mean, he brought enough militia back to really stave that off. And yeah, you've got to say that could be like the defense that wins them this match, because you know Demon is well and truly on his last legs here. It looks like the Korean player is doing a great job defending, doing what Korea does best, which is just building lots of towers, repairing, and making it really difficult to lose a city. And I mean, effectively, you look at this now, and you've essentially got a 3v2 moving forward with three players that have really strong economies. And yeah, just I really feel for the AZ guys, but this does not look good for them right now.
Yeah, you're right. But on the other hand, Young One is an age up, and by the way, Momo was the one who got the plunder for the cap. So that means he's got a lot of resources. He can probably easily defend Mentalist. I would say Mentalist needs to go and attack Immaculate. He cannot waste his time attacking Korea. Korea is just too good at defending this. I mean, before he knows, there could be 5 towers behind this Daegu city.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really important to note here, and I mean, we'll see how it plays out, I'm sure, but when you look at the choices of tech, you've basically only got the one nation went Senator for TGZ, and the other two both went Despot. And so the Despot guys are definitely looking for an early end to this game. But the longer it goes on, if there's some way that the AZ guys can stabilize here, it's going to be really difficult 2v3. But I mean, you look at the wonders. You've got 2 wonders here for Mentalist, and a really, really strong economy for him. And then you've got Germans, who Young One's economy is not too bad either, and they've both gone Senator, I believe, at least. I'll just double check that to make sure. Yeah, well, you've got Senator on both sides.
So, I would love to see. Oh yeah, please continue.
As the game progresses, basically those Senators will definitely have a huge advantage over the Despots. And yeah, if there's a way that they can stabilize this and bring it into, you know, a technology advantage that they have, and kind of press their economic and technological advantages, they could potentially come back. It's definitely not looking good, but there is hope.
Yeah, I mean, Demon King is out of the game, no doubt about it, and Sumitra is going stronger. French with Despot and it's a huge army does not look good. I think these guys.
It looks like there's an ambush here coming towards purple. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but it looks like Young One is on the move.
Yeah, I think these guys are taking Daegu. I quite feel that this is the worst city that they should be taking because it's right in the center. It's so easy for Sumitra to help right now. Any other city could have been a better target. The Great Zimbabwe, which is a small city right now, that could have been a better target with an ambush.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I guess it was probably the most convenient location given that it's so close to Mentalist, military buildings. But as you said, yeah, you can see the French player coming across here to help out, and yeah, well and truly cleaning this up. This is a 3v2 in the true sense of the word. You've got 3 armies against 2, and yeah, that push is definitely not going to work out.
Oh yeah, things don't look good here for Mentalist. All those wonders are good, but that's still not good enough to hold on for 2. Looks like TGZ has got this one. That triple, they showed some amazing teamwork in this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at this match and you think the way it was playing out, everything looked really good. But for both teams really, but for AZ they had their plan in place, and then yeah, just a great triple and a great rotation there from Immaculate joining the French player and Momo, and just basically tripling on that city, just really caught the AZ guys out, and that's the big advantage of, they set up these cities in the middle. It gave them a huge advantage as far as rotating with their position on the map and the terrain and the ability to move across. And you've got to say, that was another game that was won by strategy more so than, specific micro or specific nations or builds. So what a great game. And I'm pretty pumped to see this go to a third match.
Oh yeah, this is so if you've noticed, the only third games we have seen so far was first from AZ2, and this is again from AZ1. So quite exciting to see the third games. It just tells you how closely matched both the teams are.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And geez, I can't wait to see this. I'm sure the players would be their hands would probably be shaking a bit at this point because the tournament's on the line. It's going to a final game, winner takes all. Geez, how are they going to react? That's the question. Who can hold their nerve and bring it home for their clan?
That's right. And yeah, the winner of this round will be playing EL. I mean, the third game will be playing EL in the semifinals. So let's get onto it without without any wait.
Absolutely. Let's jump in. I know that's what everyone wants to see. They don't want to see too much post-game analysis when you've got a third match waiting and ready to go. This is definitely living up to the hype so far as series go. So AZ1, TGZ versus AZ, game 3. Let's load up that replay.
All right, and the score's been updated on the screen. It's 1-1. Let's get to the last game.
All right, I'm ready to go. So I'm at 0 seconds, 0 minute mark.
And yeah, so just before we start here, Mentalist says that Demon should have created towers. Well, I do believe that he should have created towers. He did not have any towers there. I guess, but Demon's not completely at fault. He was a triple there, so it's quite difficult to fight a triple with in any condition. But yeah, some towers would have definitely helped. Especially that fight was too close. That fight was too close. All the militia from Demon King and a lot of archers from Mentalist, they might have survived that with 1 or 2 towers.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and perhaps could have also gone Senator instead of Despot, maybe knowing that he's up against French next door. But anyway, it's always easy to say this in hindsight. I think either way, the game played out the way it did. So without further ado, are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am at the 1 second mark.
Alrighty, so we'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go.
All right. It's the same matchup again. No change in the rosters. So this is going to be quite exciting. We can't say that there was a single player who was who could be blamed for the defeat or the victory. Now it's the same roster 3 times. It's quite interesting. Let's quickly look at the nations. Momo is Koreans again, and Mentalist is Egyptians again. I don't know what kind of hack these guys are using, but it's quite it's quite convenient for Momo to get Koreans again, and Mentalist for Egyptians. I think it's a perfect time for Mentalist to rethink his strategy or just do it over, because he has the same civilization now. Just change the outcome of the game this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really fascinating because you've got Iroquois, Lakota, Koreans versus Egypt, Americans, Indians. And to be perfectly honest, I think this is set up for another cracker of a game because neither of these teams is sticking out as, imbalanced or, overpowered or anything like that because they're all fairly decent nations. I mean, Koreans are probably the only one there that, has a little bit of an asterisk next to it. Koreans sometimes, they're a bit of a funny nation, but because they can repair and they get the extra citizens and the archers are really good, but then they're definitely no powerhouse kind of nation. But everything else there, like Americans is Demon King. Geez, this is if Demon gets Colossus, this is going to get scary. Then you've got Egypt for Mentalist again, so who knows? He might even go Colossus himself in Age 1 and avoid Demon even having to worry about that decision. So, geez, this is going to be fascinating. What do you think about the nations on this particular map?
I feel so. This is Himalayas. Himalayas means boom. Yeah, it's not, and especially when these are so far placed. If you look at their positions, none of them is have their boundaries colliding. So that just means we're going to see a lot of boom. And if you check out the nations that are good for booming, I would say Indians, Americans, and Egyptians are quite nice nations for booming. And on the other side, I mean,
Yeah.
so the only thing is that we've got a Lakota, and Lakota can completely change the equation on the map because, as I said, these guys are not so close to each other, but Lakota can change that fact. Lakota can build anywhere he wants and just get so close to the border that the AZ team is bound to face off in a small battle. And for that, he's got Iroquois, Sumitra, the Iroquois player. Iroquois are amazing at aggression. And as long as Lakota can provide him the perfect position to use his aggression, I think TGZ can properly use this to their advantage. So again, we've got booming nations on one side and opportunistic nations on the TGZ side. So let's see if they can make use of that.
Yeah, I am fascinated to see, how the TGZ guys do this. I mean, looking at their nations and, once they recognize what they're up against here, it would be nice to see if, Lakota can build a city nice and close to Egypt and really apply pressure so that, basically Egypt doesn't ever feel safe. And then perhaps if the Korean player can then build his second city next to where Lakota is and really lock down that position on the map, basically gain map control, and then, starve out the AZ guys as far as where resources go for the rest of the match.
Definitely. And Americans, I mean, I would say Americans are super strong nation because of that instant wonder, definitely, and the free governments, the scholars, the one free scholar. It's quite difficult to beat Americans once they have reached medieval age, just because of all that freebies that they have accumulated. Not to forget that their army produces resources for them. So yeah, the best time to take out Americans is in the second age. If you can do that, you are good. If not, then yeah, better be prepared for those big American armies with a wonder.
Yeah, I think just I guess some insight as far as the AZ guys here. I know that Mentalist would definitely be happy getting Egypt again. He feels really comfortable booming up and building wonders such as Colossus, pyramids, and hanging gardens. And I know that Demon will definitely be going for a wonder as soon as possible because he's also a big boom type player. He does go despot, on occasions, but in this situation, I can see him just booming up with a really nice big American army. And to be honest, I think depending on how long this game goes, I feel like it's going to be more in the favor of AZ. Whereas, the TGZ guys are able to, use their nations and kind of basically slow down, raid, or block the map with the nations they've got. That's going to be the key for them to really, keep AZ's boom from getting too big.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I like that. What's changed in this game is that this time Mentalist is not in the pocket, so he is straight up front. It's going to be quite difficult for him to get wonders compared to how easy it was before last time, where he was protected by Young Ones sitting in front. But again, unless Young Ones build close to Egyptians, I don't think it would be a good idea to start with a wonder already.
Yeah, I agree. I think you do want some protection there. And if you're Egypt on this map like this, and you're close to your opponent, yeah, it's just too much of an investment to make early on, unless you have a bit of an insurance policy like an ally nearby to help you out. And he's up against Koreans, and Koreans are, I don't know, would you say Koreans
Oh
are a
no no.
fast
So
nation in
so
the early
so
game?
again, the problem here is that the other team has got a Lakota. So if a mentalist decides to go for a, let's say, a wonder, he becomes an easy target for Lakota rush. Lakota can build anywhere. The Lakota could have a barracks right in the back waiting for a mentalist to start a wonder so that he can rush with a 5 or 6 heavy infantry. So it's going to be quite challenging. I mean, young one has to be on a lookout for any Lakota interference all the time if mentalist is going to get a wonder. I don't think he has any trouble from Momo because Koreans, again, not the most aggressive nation. It's just Lakota that he needs to look out for. Although Lakota is
And I mean, we could.
quite far away. So I wonder if these guys, what they can do. They did do a triple last time, so if they do the same thing again, well, it could be a disaster for AZ1.
Yeah, you can see, the first kind of interesting question that we asked early on here. You can see that Immaculate has built his second city as close as he can to Washington here, so close to Americans. And I guess that's going to set the tenor for this match. He hasn't gone for anything too crazy. I like that move as, a safe, conservative move here to make sure that, he's got his caravan route nice and locked up. A more aggressive or risky play would have been putting that city down towards the center there and, potentially risking being cut off there. So, yeah, look, I don't mind that city placement, and it looks like it's going to be purple versus light blue as their kind of mini 1v1 moving forward.
Oh yeah, and of course, Lakota are quite fast, one of the fastest civilizations to reach classical age. So, and we're seeing a barracks from him. That means Americans are going to be they will need some help initially because, as I said, the best time to kill Americans is early game.
Yeah, and you do have, it looks like Young One is building fairly close on the right-hand side. So there will be two cities there as opposed to, two players. I guess it will depend on where Sumatraya decides to build his second city because at the moment he hasn't really committed one way or another, but it looks like he'll more likely go towards Mentalist side and it might be a 2v1 on both sides of the map here.
Right, and he is getting a barracks he has got a military one build. He is getting barracks, and so that means we might be seeing a double for mentalist. And the interesting thing is that Immaculate has Lakota, so it's quite easy to defend Lakota, especially because of the vast distance between the cities. So even if Immaculate gets doubled, it's not going to be much of a problem for him. But Mentalist definitely needs help if he gets doubled.
Yeah, I agree. And you can see also that Americans are being raided at the moment, and that barracks is trying to go down. But it looks like there's some heavy infantry which might be able to potentially stop that.
All right, he just builds it in time, and Mentalist is starting Colossus, and this can be over very soon if Young One does not come here for help.
Yeah, you can see the TGZ guys with Iroquois as well being a really strong, fast rush nation. That's really going to put a lot of pressure on Egypt here, and we'll see if Mentalist is up to the task of defending.
Yeah, he is getting barracks, but the thing is that I hope he knows that there are two people against him, and Young One is quite split right now. He doesn't know who to help. On one side, it seems like Demon King is going to need help because Lakota is just so strong initially. On the other side, Mentalist will surely need help. There is no second thought about it.
Yeah, now that the AZ guys have scouted that there is both green and blue on that side with Green City nice and close, and I'm sure at this point in the match they'll definitely be talking to each other on Discord saying whatever the Turkish words are for get the hell over here and please help me out because I'm about to get doubled.
Oh yeah, and let's quickly go over the rare resources for TGZ. These guys have got wool here. They could be using that. They've got Silk, and I just heard Momo say that he's going to go Calm 2 and Calm 2 and then Despot, and he'll attack with Militia. So if that happens, yeah, Mentalist needs to look out for that. Then these guys have got Spice here, Horses. Well, Horses with Lakota, you can't go wrong with that. And Gems. Then these guys have got double Silk actually, and they've got Silver here, and they've got Salt and Diamond. They've got all the nice resources you could ask for if you were rushing. Salt, Silver, and Horses. What more do you need?
Oh, exactly. I mean, great res for a really quick attack here, and it looks like that's definitely their plan, is to get a really heavy attack in on Mentalist and basically knock him out nice and early in the match. And I guess it'll just depend on whether the AZ guys can recognize this and figure out a strategy to kind of counter that, because at the moment the way this is playing out, it's not looking great for Mentalist.
Oh yeah. And let's look at the rare resources on this side. These guys have Cotton, so yeah, ideally they should be using Cotton because that can save them. They've got Relics, great for late game. They should probably also be using Obsidian. Colossus is a perfect opportunity to spam archers, the extra wood and wealth. So Obsidian would be a great addition to the rare resources. These guys have got Pappy here and Bison. I think for the late game, AZ has got the perfect resources for late game. But for an early rush, nothing beats TGZ rares.
Yeah, I agree. And you can see that there's sugar actually in that dark patch in the bottom right-hand side of the map, which they haven't actually scouted.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see Lakota went to raid it, and there was no one there to raid. So yeah, just another kind of missed opportunity, I guess, with that sugar patch there.
That's right. And Mentalist just lost one of his merchants. He's gonna lose another one in near Wine.
Yeah, good raiding there by Immaculate. I think Immaculate's one of his best skills is his ability to constantly multitask, and he's always raiding, especially in this early game, but also once you get to age 3, age 4, always with horse archers. It's very frustrating to play against, let me tell you that much.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you, it's going to be a triple for Mentalist. I don't think there's any third opinion for that, because Immaculate has got a barracks here. He is researching the phalanx upgrade, the heavy infantry upgrade. Sumitraya has already got Despot. He's getting a second barracks and military too.
Yeah, wow, this is looking like really good play. I mean, the TGZ guys almost learning what AZ did to them in game 1, and you know, learning, I guess, as well from what happened in that first match against who was it? Lat Team 2,
yes.
Where they went for that triple early in the game. And I mean, a triple is so powerful in this game, and that's what I love to watch in these tournament matches, is teams working together. You know, not just sitting back and booming and seeing who's got the best macro, but seeing who can work together best as a team strategically to make the most of their nations, think on the fly and make things happen. And you can see that it looks like Mentalist has spotted that there's Lakota troops kind of floating around, and I bet that's kind of raised the alarm. But so far it looks like, yeah, there's not too many. Oh, to be fair, it looks like Young has got his army over here, so they have got at least two sets of armies ready to deal with this. He has got barracks there as well, so they've definitely identified what's going on. It's just a case of whether they can stop a triple as opposed to a double.
Yes, that's right. And Mentalist, Young One is already asking Mentalist to scout, look out for the Lakota barracks, and Young One just found the barracks. There's a stable coming from Immaculate, and looks like Demon King is in a perfect position to attack him as well. So all that these guys need to do right now, Young One and Mentalist need to hold while Demon King takes out Lakota on the other side. Yeah, if that seems to be.
Yeah, you can see that Immaculate's got that forward barracks where he has built about 6 units so far and counting, and just garrisoning them in the actual barracks itself. you can see that Young One's bringing his senator across. He has spotted that barracks, but yeah, he's got to walk that senator back, and they're kind of in a bit of a tricky spot here.
All right.
Oh, he has scouted it.
I'm pointing out that Young One is going to lose his archers. I don't know where he's going with that, but he might be losing that. Those are two nice towers in a perfect position to save. And meanwhile, he's also getting raided by Momo on the other side. I don't see. Just militia is coming from Mentalist. This is going to be quite a strenuous game. Demon King needs to hurry up. He just cannot wait. These guys, yeah, he waits any longer, these guys are going to be dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, great play by Immaculate here. He's got that city behind with the tower, which will take a while for Demon to get through. But at the same time, Mentalist with that Colossus early on, a little bit slower and just getting basically tripled here. Two towers up.
Alright, Young One just lost his senator and gave Sumitraya 100 wealth. This is so bad. This is looking so bad for AZ1.
But looking so good for the TGZ guys. I'm sure the TGZ guys out there who are rooting for TGZ are thinking this is looking really great so far. A great rush and great choice of tactics here, especially by Immaculate and Sumitraya coming through to Despot, helping out with Momo. So, wow, can they hold here? That's the main question.
And Momo has still not got into the game. He is just starting. He has got his two. So Fringe and Young One, they pushed back Sumitraya there. I believe they might be able to push back Immaculate as well. There is a half dead tower, almost dead tower right here. Oh man, this is Lakota city has been captured. I guess Demon King needs to hurry up, find Lakota capital.
Yeah, I mean, Demon is playing well here given the circumstances. He can't really come and help at this stage. He just needs to go for Lakota City. But showing a lot of discipline here. He hasn't built a wonder or anything like that. He's just building troops, trying to make it happen on his side as fast as possible. But now you've got Mentalist here trying to defend against another army, which is the army of Momo, and bringing all his militia here as well. So far a great defense, but there's a lot of troops that they need to try and defend against.
Yeah, and Mentalist just lost his senator. That means no healing, no bribing, and yeah, no armor upgrade either. Young One has got his senator somewhere in the center. Mentalist might be losing his capital. And Demon King decides to come back here. I do not know how good that decision is. I would rather that he just goes to Lakota capital and takes him out. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the issue is the scouting. He doesn't actually know where Lakota's capital is. For all he knows, Lakota's capital could be across the entire other side of the map. And that makes it difficult to make the right decision there, which if he had known that it was just northwest of his base, I think you'd definitely go for that capital every day of the week.
Oh, yep, and that's really a bad scouting. I mean, you don't know. Actually, they don't even know who's in the pocket. It could be Immaculate could be in the pocket, or Sumitraya could be in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. You can see in the chat too, Young actually said the same thing. He said, find Imma's cap, bro. That's the only way. And yeah, Demon's stuck in a tough position there because he wants to help his teammates. He doesn't want to see them die, but at the same time, as a team, they need to try and figure out a way to make this happen because, if they lose this capital of Mentalists, then yeah, it's tough to.
Whoa. Are you at the same time point as me? 18 minutes?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's devastating. I just saw that come through on my screen as well. Wow, that's a devastating knockout blow, and I'm sure the TGZ guys are going crazy right now. That is what you call a straight up elimination, an ejection from the game, and Mentalist is no longer a participant in this match.
These guys they could have an amazing chance if he could just take Immaculate's capital. Immaculate did not. He does not even have his Senate deleted. So if he took out Immaculate's capital, then this would be a 2 versus 2, and Americans later could have. I mean, they could have conjured some magic easily.
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, look, I'm sure in hindsight it seems like the obvious thing to do, but I just bring it back to, that scouting was probably the issue. I mean, from Demon's point of view and from the AZ's point of view, that was all completely unscouted. He had no idea where Immaculate's capital actually was. And yeah, it was pretty tough to make that call when you kind of have all this black darkness and you're trying to find the capital, and meanwhile your teammates are getting tripled. So yeah, look, a bit of a tough break, but definitely, yeah, in hindsight from our point of view, going for that capital definitely would have been the right move there.
That's right, and look at that. Immaculate gets rid of his Senate at the right time, and he's moving it back. I mean, I bet Demon King is watching this and he's kicking him in the back. He's like, oh, why couldn't I just go to the capital?
Yeah, I think taking that capital, it was too early for him to move capital because the Senate was still raising, and yeah, we can do plenty of what if scenarios, but I don't think he would have been able to get a Forbidden City very easily either. So without a library, so yeah, definitely would have been I don't know, a very interesting game had he got that capital, but. No, the reality is he has bunkered down now. They are going to play on in this 2v3. Demon does have his Hanging Gardens, and whilst it doesn't look good for AZ at the moment, if there's anyone that I'm going to bet on to win a 2v3, it's probably Demon and Young. So let's see how they can go, because they're definitely got the potential to somehow pull a rabbit out of a hat here. Yes,
you're right. The bad thing for them again is that Immaculate moved his cap. It's no more. Even if this city, if Makasika gets taken down, it's not going to be a big problem for the TGZ team.
Yeah, correct. I mean,
what might help?
Where the capital is now. It's the capital is right in the very, very, very back, and there's absolutely no way they're going to get to that unless the game goes for another hour or so.
Yeah, one way that AZ1 still has a chance. I would say not a big chance, still a small chance, is if Demon King reaches Gunpowder Age. He's got an amazing knowledge income, far better than any other player. So if he reaches Gunpowder Age, he can indeed do. If he can handle 2 versus 1, while if Young can win. But Young one is also quite behind. He had to help Mentalist all this time in an off position. So he's not got a nice economy either, and he's being rated by Momo at the moment. I guess it's just a matter of time before AZ decides that it's too late now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Momo's got a really, really nice economy. I mean, he was probably the one player that he basically had plenty of time to do his own thing, get his economy up to the perfect number he wanted, and let Lakota and Green basically do all the raiding. And it's really paying off for him now. Obviously, he got that cap sack as well, so he's got the Colossus that he captured from Thieves. And yeah, I'm expecting Momo is probably going to go on to be the guy that takes up and gets to all the ages much faster than anyone else on this map.
Definitely. Oh man, as Dave says, from 1-0 to 1-2. I mean, it's not game over exactly. But there are very slim chances for Demon King. Demon King is not even the highest scorer right now. He does seem to be close to Gunpowder Age. If you see, he is getting the military research. He also getting the second civic.
Yeah, I can see that actually. I mean, yes, while it's never good to be in a 2v3, the reality is Demon is not that far away from Gunpowder, and it looks like he's well ahead of everyone else from a technology point of view. And if there's a way that they can somehow stabilize things out of it and keep some level of map control here, this could actually work out okay.
Oh yeah, it could. And how strong Americans are in Gunpowder Age. They get the free government again, so it could possibly change the outcome of the game. But again, it's quite far-fetched because Momo here has got an amazing economy, nowhere close to gunpowder, but still.
Yeah, I think Momo will catch up. He'll take a while to get back up to the same level of knowledge, and obviously he doesn't have hanging gardens, but more map control, be able to use all those rares, should help him out in the long term. I think, yeah, for the AZ guys, I mean, it looks like it's the right idea here as far as trying to put the pressure on, but I feel like they really need to try and get to Gunpowder Edge soon, put some pressure on, take back another couple of cities, and then kind of stabilize for the long game.
Oh yes, and Demon Kings. Yeah, he's no Demon King. All right, he's gonna lose his supply wagon, and you know what that means. Attrition. They will burn in attrition.
Yeah, not great because you can see that there are a lot of troops coming up to clean this up, and yeah, I guess losing this army is devastating for him at this point of the game. I feel like the only way to come back in a situation like this is to keep every single unit you've got and just try and build up a death ball, so to speak. But yeah, losing those units is definitely not helping that cause.
Oh yeah, right. And he lost his senator as well. That's 100 wealth for Sumitraya. His castle is being interrupted, so he cannot get the armor upgrade.
Yeah, that's definitely going to delay things as well. And yeah, it looks like the TGZ guys are playing this really, really well. When you've got a big lead like this, you want to make sure you keep the pressure on. You're always constantly raiding, and that's exactly what Momo's doing. He's sending lots of troops around, basically delaying the castle, killing as many citizens as he can, and meanwhile, the other guys can just sit back and basically do whatever they want, mass up huge armies, and then kind of go in for the final kill.
Here, Immaculate joins the battle with Sumitraya. I mean, I would have to say that the TGZ also had really nice rare resources, as we said. Securing the salt and horses, that was a great move. But a big I would say a mistake by the AZ1 is going to be not scouting properly. With bad scouting, they're missing out on this sugar, and they did not know where the Immaculate's capital was. That was absolute disaster.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of those things where it's just a basic kind of, skill, I guess, that you take for granted. But sometimes getting those scouts can be crucial in situations like this. It's funny how, simple scouting really could have changed the entire outcome of this game if Demon had that knowledge to go for that capital instead of coming back when he had that chance to strike.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I would have loved to see that game where Immaculate is out and Demon King is out. I mean, Mentalist is out and it's a 2 versus 2. Would be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 3v2 with players of this skill level, I think that's like playing, on the hardest, or it's extremely hard. It's definitely harder than playing against AI, that's for sure. You got Momo, you got Immaculate, you got Symmetraya. All these guys have showed really good games tonight. And you can see that Young is massing up elephants here, which I think is a good move. Obviously, elephants are one of those units you'd like to have in this situation, but they're going to need some really, really good engagements if they want any hope of coming back here.
Oh yeah. And a Young One is constantly being raided by Momo. There is no way for him to concentrate on the economy and the attack. Here we see Demon King is aging as well. He's got the armor upgrade. He probably has a scout. He does not have a scout in his army. Well, Sumitra doesn't have a spy, so it's fine. And just something going on something going on in the chat. Dave said we will buy Octave from Ind, and to that I would say Octave is loyal to Ind, and we will not be giving him to anybody. He is our champion player. He, as you said, he did 2 cap sacks in games against EL, So I am definitely looking forward to playing with Octave again. Yeah, you're not getting that. Whether Sumitra can play in L game or not, so far I would say no, he cannot. This was a one-time addition which we liked, but it's something debatable. We'll have to talk to all other captains as well. We don't want anybody to be coming up to us later and say, "Hey, that was unfair." In a case where TGZ wins the tournament or TGZ beats L, I don't want anybody to complain to us later.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like you said about Octave, yeah, we haven't got a stats page up, but if anyone would like to volunteer and do up a list of who has the most cap sacks, yeah, I do agree that I think Octave may well be number one on that list, or tied for number one, because some really good cap sacks in the match yesterday. Make sure you check that out on YouTube if you haven't watched the end matches versus EL.
Yep, definitely go for that.
Yeah, and looking at the game right now, you've got, Demon is in age 4 now, and he's just got his tech up. He's starting to get his upgrades happening, and this is probably that opportunity coming up. He's actually got his looks like he's got Monarchy as well, and or at least Monarchy is about to hit. And once he gets Monarchy and those units upgraded to Gunpowder Age, this is the time to make something happen for sure.
Oh, yep. And he's also got the 4th military. That means he can anytime he can get the extra armor. So that would give him the highest armor we have anybody has in this game right now. And there's going to be double. Demon King is going to meet Green's army. Oh, that's a sandwich. Never a good idea to get sandwiched.
Yeah. No, this is not looking great because I mean, those archers were really vulnerable there, and those horses just came down straight on top of them. And yeah, this is forcing an engagement here. You can't really run away without losing a lot of units. And yeah,
but he is going to run away though.
Yeah, great play there by Sumitra and Imma, just recognizing that and doubling him, and yeah, getting heaps of free unit kills there. Does look like at the bottom of the map too, Momo got a nice bribe off there on one of those elephants, and yeah, a bit of a joust there between Young One and Momo.
I can understand their position. Young one knows that there is little hope for them in this game, but since this is the final game of this best of 3, he just don't want to give up, and that's a nice spirit. I love it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you can't give up early. This is not like a random game online. You need to definitely play it out until the last possible chance you think there is of having a win. But it looks like the AZ guys have definitely recognized that. It looks like they are, contemplating the GG, throwing it out there, and yeah.
And yeah, Young One seems to be a little frustrated. I guess he wanted Demon King to take out the Lakota capital. And I guess we all wanted that too, but it just happens. So I know it's quite easy to commentate right here, but when you're in the game, when we are up for so much pressure, you often do not take the best of decisions.
Oh, exactly. I mean, just from experience, I guess, having played in that first round against the LAT team too, there are times there where you're just thinking you don't want to be the guy that lets your team down, or you don't want to be the guy that makes the wrong decision. But sometimes you're just trying to do so many things at once that it can be hard to keep a clear mind and stay calm and really think, okay, this is what I've got to do to give our team the best chance. And I mean, as we talked about earlier, I think scouting was probably the big thing here, because you can't fault Demon for his decision making, given that he couldn't recognize where the capital was. And so I think Demon did the right thing, given the knowledge he had. But had he scouted that capital and knew that it was so close, then it would have been a different decision, and potentially the whole match could have been turned on its head.
Definitely. And I mean, this was again one of the best games I have seen in the tournament. That's what I was expecting from a quarterfinal game. And just before we start with anything else, I want to say that we have an option. We could either do a post-game interview in case any player from AZ1 or TGZ is ready, or we could quickly move on to the Forwali game if you have some time.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see who's out there quickly if there is anyone, because yeah, we may need to, depending on how things go. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to cast the full Bali versus AS games tonight. So yeah, it will depend, I guess, on who else is out there, and also on some things from my end as well, which we'll have to check first. So bear with me. But first of all, is there anyone out there that wants to jump on the line? Please send us a quick message.
Oh yeah, so we will be here for 5 minutes. So if you're there, just let us know. Meanwhile, anybody from the Forwali team watching this, we have not received your recorded games. Forwali team or the AS, we have not received your recorded games, so please send us as soon as possible, so that if we can cast those.
Yeah, exactly. We will need the replays from the Full Valley versus AS match to progress. But yeah, look, at the moment, I guess just digesting this best of three. Geez, quite a strategic best of three, I'd say. Probably, yeah, as you said, the best. I'd say probably the best matchup we've seen this entire tournament so far as close games go, and really intelligent play. But you've got to say, in game one, the AZ guys just played to perfection. They used the strategy correctly, and it was just like watching clockwork in action. But in game 2 and 3, TGZ really stepped up the strategic kind of nuance. They managed to kind of move their armies around like they were chess pieces, getting that nice triple in game 2, and then in game 3, just using Lakota to its full advantage and really pressuring Fringe there, identifying that the Colossus was potentially meaning that he would be a little bit slower, and that Demon would be kind of stuck over on the other side of the map. So yeah, brilliant play by TGZ. Definitely take my hat off to their play, and it's really setting it up for an exciting semi-final now, which will be versus EL.
Oh yeah, and if you have noticed, all these 3 games ended with a 3 versus 1. In the first game, the AZ1 tripled Momo, and the second game, the TGZ guys tripled Demon King in the second game and Mentalist in the third game. So it looks like tripling is actually a very, very, very interesting tactic.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the semi-finals and the finals when, we're starting to get to the serious end of the tournament now. When I say serious end, I mean, not only are we getting to the semi-finals coming up soon, but that's when people are actually playing for real money. And it's not just, a couple of dollars here and there. We're talking about first place prize being, at the moment, $300 US, which if you split that, depending on how they split it, that's probably $100 potentially per player. That's some serious coin, and these guys are going to do everything they can to win. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether, a team steps up and just comes up with some crazy strategy that just shocks the entire world. Because I think that's potentially what we might see as this tournament gets further and further into it.
Yep, that's right. So I guess we don't have anybody for the post-game interviews, am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. It doesn't look like there's anyone messaging through. And I've just checked as far as my personal schedule, but yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to cast the Full Valley versus AS games tonight myself. So if there is a way that someone can step up to the plate, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll have to figure out a way to get this casted ASAP. But it might be potentially tomorrow otherwise.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, if nobody shows up, then we'll probably have it tomorrow in the same time. I think 6 a.m. EST. Would that work for you?
Yeah, 6 a.m. would be perfect for myself. Yeah, just I think it'll be pretty much the exact same time tomorrow. So if you are keen to watch what should be an awesome match too between Full Bali and AS1, make sure you tune in around the same time tomorrow. We'll definitely update all the usual channels, Discord, WhatsApp, etc. And yeah, can't wait to see what happens then.
So David says that he can do a commentary, and Dave, Can you come to the private chat with me and we can discuss when we can cast that game? So all right,
yeah, it would be good to get.
Oh yeah.
It would be good to get Dave's commentary for sure if that's something that he can do, because yeah, I'm sure that Serge would love to hear Dave criticizing how bad he plays in the match.
Oh yeah, definitely. So looks like that's it for this quarterfinal game. I'll be leaving the stream on for another 15 minutes in case anybody has any questions, anything in the comments. But there won't be anything new from this point. I would bring it back to the thumbnail, just so everybody can see the results here. So Kron, that it was great casting with you. And again, so anybody who's still here, let me tell you, Kron has recently bought a new house. He's moving. That's why we were a little late for the cast in the morning. So yeah, it's a perfect time to congratulate him.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Always, yeah, whenever you move houses, it's always a bit difficult to get everything set up. But thankfully, first thing I got it set up was my computer, monitor, and everything else that I could do this cast. So great to finally christen my home with the first game. Excellent series of Rise of Nations here. So no, I appreciate it. It's been great casting this game. And yeah, look, obviously, as part of AZ, always a little sad to see the guys get knocked out, but what a great series to go out on. And hats off to TGZ. They showed some great skill, some great team play, and in a way, I'm kind of pumped to sit back and just spectate the rest of this tournament and see let the chips fall how they may.
All right, and that'll be it from me. So I'll be going off the mic. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Talk soon. Cheers.